Crystal, good morning. Let's get ready with a laundry day. Crystal, good morning. I woke up. I'm gonna go back to sleep. Let's get ready with a laundry day. I got it. We'll give you all track of time. Crystal, I woke up. All right, here we go. Let's see if that works without that back noise. So now we're just gonna get ready together because that's where we are in life. Y'all say hello in the chat if you're in here. Oh my God. What's funny about this moment is I woke up last night or early this morning to set the schedule for this live and to state the title of the live. And the live is entitled, The More You, the Better. So when I first saw the title, I was like, oh, we're going to talk about things like social media and showing up as your authentic self on social media. And, this whole thing of not hiding behind a platform or hiding behind your cameras. Like, I know I'm not the only one that don't like showing up on social media. Like that. Clearly I do it. But is it like my foremost favorite thing to do? Absolutely not. It's not. Contrary to what you may think. So I saw the caption, I put it in the video, set the timer, and like I said, I went back to sleep, woke up, here we are. I had no idea that this would mean like literally showing you more of me. I'm in my damn nightgown. So how apropos, right? It turned into a whole get ready with me video. So welcome y'all to the morning message. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Yeah, my name is Alami Bashir. I'm an intuitive self-mastery coach. Monday through Friday, I chime in to do a live intuitive channeled message. And here we are again today. To know me is to know I have a real thing about earrings. So I'm even here without my earrings. Without makeup is a norm. We've moved beyond that. But without my earrings is still weird. So let me go and gather. This is really funny. I feel like I'm having like a surreal exchange with you because I didn't plan this like this. I did not plan this like this. This was not pre-orchestrated like some people like to do get ready with me videos, and they intentionally set up the camera to let you see them do all the things, their facial wash and all the shits. No, anytime you see that from me, that is actually the real me, like behind schedule, trying to get ready, and you happen to be able to watch it. It's not a coordinated event. Hello. And shout out to all my influencers who coordinate the event. But no, this is actually just me. I'm gonna make sure I don't have like a nip slip or nothing crazy because it's so uncoordinated right now. Okay. So as I get into it, the message that is, it makes me immediately wonder, how much do you all edit yourselves when you go on social media platforms? Like, if you even have a platform. Some of you don't even show up on social media. You're so afraid to show yourself or to talk about yourself or to share what you do in real time. I'm kind of one of those people too. It's weird. I know I talk a lot, I channel messages, but you don't hear me necessarily promoting services and doing marketing promotions and all those kinds of things. It's just not where I'm most comfortable. Where I'm most comfortable in front of a camera is doing live channeling or hosting a live event where there's two-way exchange. That's where I shine. Talking to a blank camera with nobody on the other end telling you about something is not my jam. Not my jam. By the way, those of you who know Destiny, Selena, who is Vic's daughter, this is her product. She'd be very proud to know that I'm promoting it, but as you can see, I use it. And the shit gives me a natural glow. If you ever say, Lami, your skin looks so nice, this is why. Because this shit is bomb. It's called Balance Perfection. Okay. And this one, this isn't exactly my favorite scent. I mean, it smells fine. But the one that's my jam is the lemongrass one. That shit is spectacular. So, oh, and if you're on baby watch with us, because you were on the platform a couple days ago, the baby's still not here. Okay. We're still waiting. Girl, I'm on live, girl. We're doing a whole get ready with me right now. Okay. All right. So, yeah, that's literally what we're talking about today is how can you show up more, not just more in frequency, but like more authentically, more honestly, more genuinely on public platforms. And it don't have to be social media. It might be, showing up at work as more of your authentic self or in your friendships or associationships, people you know through work or through professional settings. It's like we all have some version of a mask, I guess you would want to call it, a social mask that we put on that protects people from really getting to know us. And yeah, I know I'm in a season of really blowing past that in my life, but clearly this is a part of the collective message. So, how do you need to show up differently? And where? What are the places and spaces that you need to start showing up more authentically so people can, sorry. So people can get to know the real you. Sorry. It wasn't my knee. It's okay. I'm sorry. No. So that's where we are today. As I continue my get ready with me, I am going to find something to wear. And it's hot as hell here in Texas, so. And I think I'm gonna go do some self-care today. Like at the spa. That sounds like a great idea to me. At the spa. All right, Vicky Lee, can you reach that gray bag right there and just on the left-hand side, inside or on the left, grab any deck you feel. I feel like this is going to be a very cute, short, and sweet message. Okay, Vic got the tarot deck. She's not playing with y'all today. Okay. So let's get into some cards so we can get deeper in this message of being more of yourself. The more, the better. Before we get to that, as I'm talking about this social mask, I don't know how many of you are dating, as in not in a monogamous relationship and you're still out on the prowl, as they say. And even if you are in a monogamous relationship, remember back when you weren't and you were single and available, single to mingle, ready to mingle. And think of how you would show up in those connections, whether it was like a first date or any kind of just chance encounter. Maybe it wasn't an official date, it's that first look. Like if you were to rank yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being I'm showing up as my most authentic self, like this is me no matter who's watching. Like what grade would you give yourself? What rank would you give yourself on a scale from 1 to 10? How authentic do you show up in those exchanges, or did you show up in those exchanges? 10 meaning it's not like you're uncouth and you don't have a filter, and maybe if that's your authentic self, then maybe that is 10. But 10 meaning like I'm not guarding, I'm not protecting, I'm not pretending, okay? I'm not misleading, okay? Because we all know our representative is who shows up first, right? that version of ourselves that we want people to accept and to acknowledge and appreciate. That's what we call the representative, right? So, like, how much are you like your representative is maybe another way to ask that question. Okay. How much are you like your rep? So, I'll go back to my dating days. I was going to say my dating woes. It was more like it. My dating woes. When I was out in the streets dating, and I would go to meet someone, I would say they probably got 60% of me. Okay, or we'll go by percentages. They got about 60% of me. Okay, they got more or less me, but I know I left a good chunk of me behind when I would go to meet people. And what parts of me, might you ask, did I leave behind? It's funny because Vic and I were kind of talking about this yesterday or day before yesterday. Um, I'm a very kind of deep kind of person. I don't talk about mundane things just for sport. Like small talk is not my jam. I don't really care about the mundane things that people be focused on. So when I make connections with people, the way I know it's actually a connection that's for me is that they can go to a higher dimension in the conversation. And we don't have to be talking about soul purpose and all that shit right away. We probably gonna get there somewhere, especially now, somewhere early on in my conversation is gonna be like, are you happy with your life? Are you doing what you love to do? Do you know what you're called to do? That's part of my conversation now, but even before, it was more like, I may not ask somebody if they believe in God right away. Okay, that's a big chunk of me that's always been there, and I leave that behind. Like I said, I may not, bring in the more comfortable topics for me. It's like understanding who people are and how they are. It's like, do you know what lights you up and what makes you smile and all those kinds of things? I may save some of that, for later, even though that's the stuff that really matters to me. I don't give a fuck about your favorite color or your first job. Like those are not the things that are most significant for me. Um, the way I can be so curt, so direct, and even so transactional in the way in which I engage with people. Again, when you shave off small talk, you get right to the essence of what a thing is or not. And that's typically how I like to function. But if I'm just meeting somebody, I'll go through the rainbows and roundabouts of small talk. And I call it rainbows and roundabout because, again, I'm one who likes to get to the heart of people. So I've learned to draw some of those things back over the years. But in my younger days and when I was actively dating, I was drawing back a lot. And it wasn't that I wasn't being myself. I just wasn't allowing the audience or the company to experience all of me. And it's interesting that I use the word company because I'm not just talking about casual conversation and people, but I'm actually talking about businesses that I've worked for. That they would get, the part of me that does the job and meets all the job description, but I've always been so much more. I was a counselor in higher education for umpteen years, 20 years. That's crazy. But yeah, I was a counselor in higher education for 20 years before I went full-time into life coaching. And it was only, because I finally chose to go into coaching that I landed here. But there's a very big difference between counseling and coaching. But I've always been a coach at heart. But the organizations that I worked with, because of not just, people didn't like me, it wasn't that kind of thing. It was like the organizational structure. I wasn't hired to be a mental health therapist in certain occupations. And so, counselors deal with academic, personal, some crisis counseling, but if it gets, too long-term of a exchange, they are, escorted to another person, another full-time therapist or offsite resource. It wasn't me. Okay. As a counselor, you have to meet certain metrics. Does the student know their class schedule? Do they, have the life skills they need to be successful? Is some regimented stuff. coaching is more like, what are your big dreams, and what are the barriers stopping you from that? And while I always brought all of that to my counseling experience, that wasn't what was required. So I literally did not bring all of myself to work. It's just like, it's like, I don't know, somebody who's a secretary, but they are, also a trained EMT. They're not bringing their EMT self to work, even though if they work in a hospital, that's not what they're hired for. They're hired to be a secretary. They're not hired there to be an EMT full time. So it's like, there's certain parts of us that even you have muted in your relationships, in your work experiences, in your life. And this call to action today is for you to show up and be more of who you actually are in every space that you occupy. So one might say, well, how can I show up to be an EMT if I'm hired to be a secretary? Well, maybe it's time for you to move around to an environment that allows you to be more of all of yourself, that allows you to use your EMT skills and your administrative assistant skills. Okay. Okay. So Crystal says, I definitely don't bring all of me into this place, mainly because I know this isn't even remotely where I will end up. Plus, they barely tolerate the shine that I bring. I can't give them all. Yeah. And I'm sure that message, Crystal, resonates for so many other people. It's like, and I've heard even Vic say it a lot of times. It's just like, people can't handle all of, I give people what they can handle. They can't handle all of this. And that'd be a true statement for certain people. And my response to that also is, again, maybe that's not the environment that's right for you. It's not that you're not right for it. It's not right for you. So what environments allow you to show up to be more of yourself? That's the question. And quite honestly, that's the call to action. Okay. So as we talk about things like playing small, it's not for you to play small. It's not for you to try to fit in and not stick out. It's for you to go where you are loved and appreciated and valued, because your gifts and skills that you bring are not optional in this world. It's actually for you to do those things, to express in that way, to show up in that way. Okay. But let's go back to our dating example, because that's pretty relatable for most people. Okay. So what happens when we show up as a fraction of ourselves in a dating exchange? That's what we get in return, is a fraction of what we want, because we're not bringing all of what we have to the table. So it took me a long time to figure that out. It took me a long time to figure out that if I want someone who has spirituality as a value, a high priority in their value system, I've got to bring that into the conversation much faster than like date 2 or 3 or the 3rd or 4th phone call. Like, if that is the energy I want to be met with, I've got to bring it to the surface. I've got to bring it to the exchange much sooner than later. Shut your face. Vic over here talking shit about how she macked me. Talking about who gonna hold space for you. Yeah, girl. So, there's a lot of food for thought there, okay? I'm not going to teach you or tell you how to think about this, but it is for you to self-reflect on where you're selling yourself short, where that you're not showing up fully in all of who you are and all of what you have to offer, when you may not share all of what you know, okay? We see that a lot in work experiences as well. Those of you who have a hard time asserting yourself and speaking your truth and sharing your ideas freely and without guard. And it's not always because people have told you they don't want to hear from you. It's that I'm not sure how they're going to take it, or I'm not sure if they're going to accept it or receive it. Okay. Again, this is a call to action to show up as more of who you are. Okay. Some folks are like, if I do that, I'm going to get fired. Well, maybe you need to. Okay. Maybe you need to. Not get fired, but move around. Okay. All right. Big Sun camera.
I don't want to be trappy.
All right, girl. So look at what we got. Two of Swords. Okay. This is all about duality and mindset. You want to say something? Oh. This is all about duality and mindset. Okay. The swords in tarot make reference to our thoughts, ideas, opinions, beliefs. And this too, the duality, meaning that, two things can be true. Okay. I can be holding back who I really am and what I really think, and it's for good reason. And I need to. Okay. This is given like the energy of a crossroads, though. You see her eyes are, there's a blindfold over her eyes. It's like we almost confuse ourselves when we show up with multiple personalities. In our social setting, we're this way and that way. At work, we're this way and that way, right? And then maybe with our friend group or, our family group, we are a whole other version, okay? So there's a lot of energy around needing to integrate who and how we are. As I say, show up as your authentic self in every environment you occupy. That should be rule number one, okay? Because again, think about it. Hear when I say multiple personalities, okay? There's a split that happens. There's a lack of harmony that happens on purpose. We do this on purpose. We apply for jobs or we go try to be in social environments where we literally don't feel like we belong and we try to make ourselves fit. And then we wonder why we don't feel whole and complete. Because we had to chop off this and cut out that and, all the things. So that's one of the reasons why I went into entrepreneurship, is because, not because I wanted to create a job for myself, but because I wanted to be able to get paid to be who I organically am. And I think I'm doing it. I'm proud of me because I do it. Vic's like, yeah, like this is the dream for me. To show up in my nightgown, be at work, talking shit, sharing with the people what I know. Okay. Like, this is the dream. I didn't have to get up and put on some clothes and put on some makeup and put on some earrings. I didn't have to leave my house or drive my car or spend any money. I mean, I just get to push 2 buttons and I'm here doing my job, doing what I love with people that I like, and enjoying the whole vibe. But this is a reality I had to choose. This is not the reality that social constructs told me was available to me. There's certain entrepreneurs like, yeah, that's why I became an entrepreneur, so I could do what I want. And then they forget to tell you about, yeah, you get to do what you want, but then they're burdened with all this other bullshit because they're trying to make it work, trying to make a sale happen and make things flow because they got bills to pay and stuff. No one's talking about the wholeness that people really seek in entrepreneurship. It's not just about making money. A lot of entrepreneurs are making a lot of money and still not fucking happy. They still have to show up in fraudulent ways or ways that are not truly authentically them. They got to market to people they don't actually like. And you would be really surprised, or maybe not so surprised, to know how often that happens. I remember when I first moved here to Houston, I met this guy who was a spiritualist, we'll call him. And he had a group organization here in the area that they met on Sundays, and he would teach spirituality to people, basically. And one day I had invited him to go to coffee because I wanted to just get to know. I forgot all about this experience. It's funny, it's coming back to me right now. One day I invited him out for coffee because I wanted to get to know him, and I was new to the area, just trying to meet people. And he told me flat out, he was like, I like what I do, but this is not even the audience that I want to serve. And I'm like, this fool has a room full of people every Sunday that are hanging on his every word. And he's just like, yeah, these aren't my people. And it just made me think, like, well, how did they get here if they're not your people? And what about you is not showing up as your authentic self? And I know that answer, and I'm going to keep it to myself. But what about you is not showing up fully, wholly, and authentically to where you can be a natural magnet to those people. It's so surreal. I mean, he had room overflowed. Like, these aren't even my people. And I'm like, okay. You created this monster and this is not your people. Okay. So, and I don't say monster, like he had a very beautiful ministry, quite honestly. I enjoyed going to listen to him speak. He was a great orator and reinforced values and principles that you all hear me speak about even today. But it really threw me, and it told me a lot about him, that he was showing up inauthentically to do his work, because clearly the work that he was doing was working, but he just like, these aren't my people. So that duality exists in all of us, you know, to some extent. Again, that mask is what creates the duality between who you know you are and then how you show up. And this message again is about you showing up as more of you, and not just the call to action to show up. It's a reinforcement that when you do it, it is better when you do it that way. If you get on social media before you've had a chance to fully comb your hair and you know, straighten up your face and iron your clothes and set your backdrop and get your lighting and all of the things that people will have you convinced that are necessary in order for people to hear your words, it's like, if you stay stuck there, then you're missing out and people are missing out on you. Okay. So Victoria and I were also just talking about, there's a popular influencer that we both follow, and she does a lot of business content, really great content, top tier, very top tier content this person creates. So a couple of years ago, I invested in one of her courses. And this is a woman who has made multiple millionaires many times over. She's a multimillionaire herself. She's got a lot of good shit going on. She's very feminine and very fabulous and very a lot in her, and not a lot, she's a lot. Just she presents in a very kind of grandiose way. And so I invested in one of her courses a couple of years ago. And when I got the course, I was like, very, very like, this is Miss Fabulous who does everything fabulous, and she knows all this great information. And I got her course. There were no bells and whistles to it. The aesthetic was giving very like 1900s, you know, and we know how far technology and lighting and software programs and PowerPoints and Canva and all of these tools that are readily available for us to embellish and make things really beautiful when we share information. She was just like, here, you're gonna get this pre-recorded live, and it's gonna be some bad video quality, but as long as you can hear my voice, you can hear these nuggets of truth and this realness that I got to share with you. And that's the whole point of this course. And I was just like, I learned so much in that exchange with her. And it was really like, one, things don't have to be perfect, okay? Two, the things you be worried about are going to keep people from hearing you or recognizing or acknowledging your value is not even the shit that people be paying attention to, okay? Three, it was like, when you overthink and overanalyze things, then you miss opportunities. She was just like, you know, work smarter, not harder. And it the 1900s. Girl, we were born in the 1900s, okay? Yeah. So it was just I learned a lot from her in just that one exchange. It's like all the shit, especially like those of you who like perfectionists and like feel like shit got to be perfect before you do anything. Oh my God. It was such an important lesson for me to learn. And I'm still learning it, to be honest. I'm still working through that need for things to be perfect before I show up. And that's, clearly I've mastered it here, right? I got a leopard nightie on. I've clearly mastered it here, but there are other places in my life that I have not mastered that shit. And in fact, it stops me and stunts me from being able to move forward faster toward the shit I want. So anyways, it's a lot of energy here today around getting The word integration is what keeps coming. It's like getting in harmony with yourself, getting in alignment with who you really are, showing up as your most genuine, most honest, most authentic self, okay? Okay. Yeah, and it's given like, as we do that, this 10 of Cups is like everything you dream for, ask for, want in life is coming. As soon as you get your mind together and get clear about who you want to be and how you want to show up consistently in life, and it's not a decision based on vanity or based on external expectations. Like the decision is based on who you know you are at your core. What resonates most, what feels good, what matters most to you. It's like, it's the difference between showing up to talk about content that people want to hear from you as opposed to things you really want to talk about. Okay. There's a big difference in that. But 10 of Cups is given like, you know, blessings, abundance, joy abounds when you really get in alignment with yourself. Show up as your authentic self. Okay. So the obvious reason why we don't do this is because we don't want to be rejected. Okay. If I just be who I am, other people might not like it, and then they might not want to be in my company or community. Okay. And so the problem with that is, and I mean, and I'm not blind to the fact that, again, I have these same kind of dilemmas, you know, but I love them, or we've been in community so long, or, you know, they're not a bad person. It's like, it has nothing to do with any of that. It's about harmony. It's about your ability to integrate for yourself. If you've got to cut off main parts of your personality in order to fit in a space, that's probably not the space that's for you. So then it becomes a conversation of, well, why do I feel like I need to fit in this space when I know it's not for me? And usually that dates back to some conditioning, right? When I talk about conditioning, it's like the way we were raised, the way we've come to know ourselves and our value in the world, okay? It's kind of what we've come to expect of ourselves because it's what other people expected from us. Okay. So it's just like a lot of energy around needing to do that work. Some of you really need to get off this live and ask yourself, well, why am I not showing up in the way I know I want to? Why don't I say the things that I really feel I want to be said or need to be said? Why am I so afraid to just wear the outfit that I like, even if other people may not care for it? Okay. Showing up as more of yourself is what will create better outcomes in your lives, y'all. For me, that more looks like more vulnerability. I've had to show up in far more vulnerable ways on this platform alone than I ever have in life, and I'm so grateful for it, truly. It's freed me. It's freed me tremendously, you know, to talk about the things that I've struggled with or the things that I'm still working to master, you know, from money to having smoked weed my entire life to, you know, navigating the trials and tests of this business and entrepreneurship and motherhood and partnership and all of these ways in which you see me showing up in much more candid ways. It really is in alignment with what I said I wanted, which is to be my authentic self. But somewhere along the road, I determined like, this might be a subject that I talk about, you know, in my private life with my friends or my family, but not with the world. Okay. But that wasn't what I signed up for. I was like, no, I want to be my authentic self. All of it can show up. Okay. And anything that's showing up that is not, does not feel good or does not feel like a divine reflection of me, that's probably something that I need to check anyway. So no need to hide it. I need to show it so that I can keep growing through it. And in real time, show you all what it looks like to grow through it. And I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of myself for being able to lean into it. And I'm very proud of the response that it gets. That people feel more connected to me because they understand more of my path, more of my journey, and see themselves in it, which is ultimately what I said I wanted in life. Go figure. Okay. So I think I'm going to wind down on these two last cards. Okay. We got the Queen of Wands, which is all about what do you want? Okay. It's all about what you want and being able to be patient while you wait to get it. Okay. The wands in the tarot represent passion, desire, energy. And you see, she's just sitting here chilling. Okay. And that little sunflower, I always love the sunflower and the black hat. It's like sitting here knowing that I'm open to connection. It's also knowing that I have challenges, but I'm also still waiting for the alignment. I'm not out here seeking anything that's not for me. I'm not out here trying to force fit something that does not feel authentic. It's like, I know I have shadow. That's that black cat energy. I know I have shadow and I know I have value. And it's for me to be patient, to wait on the opportunities and the connections, the partnerships, the situationships, and the things that are aligned for me. And you see, a queen doesn't go out thirsty looking. A queen knows that what's for her will come toward her. She knows that. She's not second guessing. Will my needs be served? You know, will my desires be met? She's just like, I just gotta sit here and chill and wait and be my authentic self. And even though we're talking queen energy, there's no masculine or feminine distinction in the tarot. I mean, there's no male or female distinction in the tarot. It's just masculine and feminine energy. And so we all can take a page out of this book of wands that the queen is holding and be your authentic self and just wait for it. Okay. Being your authentic self doesn't mean you have to hide the parts of yourself that you're not proud of. Okay. In fact, she's got it right there waiting. It's like, let me let you know, my shit is not perfect. I'm working through some things, and this is what I'm mastering. This is what I'm overcoming still, but this is who I am, how I am, and this is what I want out of life. This is what I want to give life, and this is who I want to align with in my experience while I'm living this thing. So, a lot of energy around that. I love that. Okay. Last card is this Six of Sword. Six. Yeah, Six of Sword. Now, every time I read this card, and every reader is different, but I always receive this card as divine guidance. Okay, like being divinely led. Okay, it's like no matter what you think, or no matter what other people think, as those swords represent mental energy, thoughts, beliefs, ideas. It's like no matter what you see in terms of your own opinion or the opinions of others, you're being divinely led. Who you are is how you're supposed to be. Okay. Until further notice, until you work toward mastery in it, or until you self-correct, or until you evolve to another plane, who you are is how you're supposed to be. Okay. Who you are is how you're supposed to be. You're being divinely guided. So this energy of like me waking up this morning, not knowing I'm gonna be on live with my nightgown on, it's I gotta really trust. And I know, but it's weird. I gotta trust that this is all aligned. This is all a part of the assignment. This is all purposeful. This is me showing up as more of myself without my earrings, without my cute outfit or my swimwear or my hat or my lip balm. Like, this is me. Raw and uncut. Unscripted. Being genuine. And this is the call to action for you all, is to gather up your percentages so that 100% of you shows up in every exchange that you have, whether it's a conversation or experience, that all of you can show up there and be honest with yourself and other people. It's not saying, hey, I'm good with this, when really you got a problem with something. It's allow that part of you that really doesn't feel good with whatever the situation to have a voice and to be able to make a decision that course corrects. Okay. The more of you, the better. So I feel complete with this message. Love y'all so much. Have a great day. No matter what, peace.